Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 128 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Breden.
And in this episode, we go through our top 10 board games with deduction and much more. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. Would you rather have a third eye or a third arm?
All right, this is a fun one. Third eye or a third arm? I don't know what the other eye would be for unless it's on the back of your head, which would be hilarious.
That would be very useful.
It would be very useful for marauders trying to sneak up behind you. Although I think I would have to go for the third arm. The eyeball is really cool, but man, having a third arm to paint miniatures with or do anything really. But both of those are really good.
They're pretty good. Like, what if you had an eyeball like on the end of your finger or something? You just be like looking around a corner.
Oh, that'd be fun until you like tap on the desk and you're like, ow. Yeah, I would poke that eye out so fast if it was on my finger.
That's true. That would be rough. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if it was on the palm of your hand or something. That'd be freaky.
Yeah, but anytime you grab something, it wouldn't work well.
I don't know. I guess on the back of your head would be a really good spot just because you would have literally 360 vision at that point. What would you pick?
I'd go with the arm. Can you imagine what sign language interpreter I would be if I had an extra arm?
You'd have a whole sign language dialect or whatever you want to call it designed. I mean, you'd be out there, you'd be doing like, you know how the people do those little puppet shows at night with the flashlight? You could do that without a flashlight because you'd have so many fingers. You wouldn't even need to have this like, oh, this is kind of like a house. You would actually build a house out of your fingers.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. I could be holding a referent, like pointing to what I'm talking about and then just talking about it with my other two hands. It'd be amazing.
And you could give off such a jerk presence because you could be sipping coffee while you're signing, you know?
You know, it's funny though that you can sip coffee while you're signing. You sip coffee with one hand while you're signing with the other hand. It really is just the opposite of what hearing people do. You know, when you're a hearing person talking, you cannot eat and drink and talk at the same time, right? So
some people try this. It's very rude.
It's a very different rhythm when you're signing and eating and drinking. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, I think going with the third arm is the better choice here. You know, maybe unless you have some kind of profession that a third eye would greatly excel you at.
That's true. Yeah, if you're in the military,
that would be a good time to have a third eye.
Yeah, if you're a ninja.
The difference is though, and I guess prosthetics and things will get to a point where we can have an android arm, but right now you can literally have Google Glass on and throw a camera on the back of your head and kind of simulate that experience.
That's true too. Yeah, we're just about there. They've got these like mechanical legs. You put your own legs into like these robot legs, and then they have hydraulics so you can lift so much more weight. And
right, I know like car manufacturing plants have hydraulic arms that you put your arms inside of, like big sleeves of arms.
Oh.
But because they're underneath cars reaching up, working on them, the hydraulics just make it to where your arms are always up. So you're kind of relaxed. Your whole arms and upper body's relaxed, but your hands can move.
Whoa. That's
and then
cool.
When you start pressing down on your elbows or whatever, it releases the hydraulics automatically. And now it's not even taken. It's more of like a relief system than it actually is. It doesn't really make you stronger, I don't think. It just makes you less susceptible to being tired after, 8 hours holding your arms above your head. All right. Well, cool. That was a fun question.
Go with the arm.
Go with the arm.
Yep.
Send us comments. What would you pick? I should actually put these comments in an Instagram post or something, with just like the 4 or 5 minute of us talking as like a thing, and then people can comment on them.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've recorded the last podcast a couple of days ago, so I'm assuming this first part's going to go real fast. But what you been up to since 2 days ago?
Well, I went and visited some friends. This is like one of the first times I've gone and done anything since the start of the whole coronavirus. We're all vaccinated, so I got to go out there and have a grill out and play some board games. It was really nice.
Oh, nice.
So
what you get to play?
we played Endangered and played the panda scenario. And I was concerned about this game because the last several games we did the otters and the tigers. We won every time, and I thought this game is too easy. I'm thinking this game is just a bit too easy. And the pandas just kicked our butts. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we got wiped out. We did not save the pandas. So that's a good thing. I'm feeling a little better about it, and I'm hoping that the expansion that's coming out soon that has 7 more kinds of animals, that they'll have upped the difficulty in some of those as well.
Well, that's cool. Did you play anything else, or did you just play that one a couple of times?
Played that one a couple times. We played C'est Evident, It's Obvious game. That was interesting because it's a party game, but it says it plays with 3. And so I wanted to see, how was that going to work? It works really well. That's a party game you can play with 3 people. It was fantastic. We really had a great time. And it proved that it's not my family that is terrible at the game. If anything, it's me. Like, it's just me. Because
oh, man.
we did terrible again.
That's co-op, right? You're leading everybody to
yeah
to fail.
You're all trying to pick a different card that's out in the center of the table, and you have to associate it with some of the cards in front of yourself, but you can't talk about it. So you look around and you see what other people have and what might they associate, and then you think, okay, so they have to go with that. That's obvious. And then mine is obvious. I have to do this one. And then it turns out they're thinking something completely different, and it's hilarious. It's really good.
That's funny.
Yeah, we got to play it.
Yeah, it does sound like a good game. I wonder how hard it would be to do it digitally, though.
Not any harder than any of the others that are on Tabletop Simulator.
That's fair. Cool. Anything else, or is that pretty much it?
That was it, but that was a great time.
I haven't been up to much in a couple of days. I've played Fantasian on the iPhone a little bit more. I'm really starting to like some of the mechanisms that's introduced into the game. I'm about 10 hours into it. So
okay.
According to online polls, I'm about halfway through the game. I might do a solo review of that at one point because it is really, really good. But we'll see. Cool. We'll see if it keeps up with it. Other than that, I've been playing some Board Game Arena. We got to do Beyond the Sun, a couple games of that. That game is pretty fun. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was going to read it for last game night, but we ended up playing Cryo instead.
Right.
And Beyond the Sun is really good. It's a little themeless to a degree. Like, it's a space game that you play with like this. The idea of it, you have a technology track, but all the technologies are just like cards that are randomly placed out. So it has a lot of replayability.
Okay.
And there's like this other board where you have these planets that you can move on with your ships and take them over.
But you mostly care about the tech track.
Yeah, most of the game is about the tech track and basically taking a tech track and making it into a point game where you research those techs and you'll get points for doing stuff. The theme, though, is just basic space. It's like they could have used a little bit more theme, I think. Even the publisher was like, we like to think that you can put whatever theme you want on it. We like to think we're in the Expanse universe. No. Sorry.
It's just nothing. It's just no theme.
I don't play a board game and think, wow, could you imagine this theme as we're playing? All right, I'm going to pretend we're playing Simpsons. No. No,
you want them to do the work. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Add the theme on there. I'm playing whatever you have provided in this box. It's
right.
I mean, otherwise I'm going to print and play your game and not buy it. And I'm going to theme it myself. But I'll probably end up buying this one. It's really good. I'm okay with it's so good that I'm okay with the theme being kind of bland.
Okay.
Although I do think it is slightly a negative to it. Although the alternative, I don't, unless they put like Star Wars or Star Trek or some kind of IP that already exists, I don't know what they would do other than make up their own world. But it would just be the same thing, but maybe some little bit more art. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's not a game that really needs a lot of theme, but it could have used it and been a little cooler.
Okay. Sounds like one I'll probably stay away from.
You will play it soon. Actually, I think you would like it. I think you would. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if you like it or not.
Yeah.
It's basically a worker placement game with a tech tree. But in order to, you have to like worker place to unlock those tech trees.
Yes.
And you put your little dice on it to represent that you've taken, put that people have went there and researched that.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I haven't tried the game, but I'll give a shout out to a worker placement tech tree game that I really like, which is called Legacy Gears of Time.
That's fair.
You ever get a chance to check that one out? Man, that's a great game, and time travel is a tremendous theme.
That, when done correctly,
yes,
is really good.
Yes, and this is one. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends, I don't know if you ever met Jeremy Hodges. That was in his top 10 games when we did the Dice Tower top 10 one year.
Yeah.
I think it only stayed in there one of the years that we did it, the first year that he was on.
Okay.
And then it dropped off, but.
Too bad. But it is really good. It's not in my top 10 either, but it's up there. I really like it.
Well, there's a lot of games. Doing a top 10 is rough.
Speaking of top 10s, we're doing a top 10 today of games with deduction in them.
Yeah.
And I legitimately could have made probably 3 top 10 lists for this, but also this is even worse. I could make a top 10 list of deduction games that I have received during COVID and have not yet played.
Top 10 deduction games I want to deduce if they're good.
Yeah. Oh man, that is a sad commentary, but holy cow. So many games. And this is one of my favorite kind of games. So when there's a deduction game coming out, I'm picking it up.
All right. Well, this should be a fun list. Look, I don't think we have any news to go over, correct?
No, I have nothing.
All right. The only thing I have is on the Epic Games free game Thursday. I can't remember what it's called now. I actually looked at it on the other computer and downloaded it. It's Control.
Oh.
So Control, number one, looks amazing. And it has incredible reviews.
Yeah.
Metacritic score gives it 85. User score 7.2. But if you look at it, it has all these awards and stuff that it's achieved, and it simply looks great. Did you check it out?
I have actually. This is one I've played because back a few years ago when I bought my computer, this is the game that came with it for free.
No, that's really cool.
It was like a $60 game at the time, and so I played it, and it is fantastic. It is fantastic, this game. Yeah. It has a very slow kind of start, but stick with it. It's absolutely worth it. And like you said, it's gorgeous. And the gameplay is really fun too. So it's definitely worth getting, past the introductory levels for sure. And,
does it kind of start slow, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought so. I didn't mind it though. Me, I like to wander around and explore the environments and check out the art. So it was fine. But I just think other people might think, when am I going to be blasting bad guys? Well, don't worry. You will.
Yeah, it's really tough to get into a first-person shooter type game, even though this is third person, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you don't get to kill anything very quickly.
But you will. You will. It's definitely coming. It's so worthwhile.
Very random comment on something in that same vein. RPG games, I'm just going to say, I would like to start off with the combat system as close to starting the game as possible. I don't like this thing where you throw an RPG in your system, like Switch or PS4 or even PC, and then it takes you like 45 minutes before you actually fight anything.
Because you want to know if the system's any good.
Right. 90% of the game. I mean, a lot of the content's probably story, but when you're not doing story, you're fighting. And I want to make sure that I'm going to have fun with that because for me, I like the story in RPGs too. But if the combat system is garbage, I'm done with the game.
Gotcha.
I'll just go watch a video and get the story element of it. So I think that certain games need to do their primary focus really quick and grab me. I don't know why these stories, I don't like the slow start stories where the first hour of the game is just kind of meh. You're meandering through the forest because you have amnesia. Like even Fantasian does this well because you start off and you have amnesia and you're like, what's going on? And all of a sudden this thing's like, I'm tired. It's like this huge robot tries to fight you. You're like, what? So it pulls you into the game real fast.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah.
you need that hook. You know, in advertising, I think you have like 6 seconds or 7 seconds to grab somebody's attention. Something like that. I don't know. I might be wrong. It might be even 3 seconds, but you don't have much time to keep them after they're hooked. So you need to make the most of it.
I guess it depends on who the player is, because you're the sort of player that really gets into the mechanisms of a game. Like you were just talking about Beyond the Sun, and it's the theme. It doesn't matter that much to you because the mechanics are what you like. And so you want to get right in and see, okay, what are the mechanisms of this RPG for fighting? Whereas other people might be drawn in by the story, or they might even have to be drawn in by the story, you know.
Well, it's really weird because with board games, the story element of things, you know, unless it's a game that has like a story book that you're going to be reading through, something like folklore. Other than that, the game in a board game sense, the story, right, it's like a back seat to the mechanisms for me.
Sure.
It is almost equal when it comes to video games, though.
That's what like I mean for yourself, but maybe other people.
For me.
Yeah. Might have the opposite take.
I mean, that's fair. Like if you only care about the story and like the mechanisms aren't really that concerning. Yeah, that's fair. But I will say that for me with video games, the story element is much greater as far as me caring about it than with board games.
The story, or you mean the mechanisms?
I would say it's like 50-50 in a video game, and it's like 90-10 in a board game.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like the story element does make a difference. If it has really good, I guess, I don't know. In a video game, even if it doesn't really have a story, but the mechanisms are really good, then the game is still good to me. Like Diablo, right, doesn't have the craziest story. It's like, go kill this demon guy.
Yeah, just go click your finger on your mouse 10,000 times.
Right, you can hold it down. But anyway, it's mostly mechanisms, and that's fine with me. But if the story element was there, I don't know. I guess it's hard to explain. Like, if the mechanisms are kind of crappy, then I'm not very interested, even if the story is really strong. Yeah. But if there is a story that's really good, I guess I'm not really explaining myself very well. Mechanisms probably still takes forward first place.
I think so. That was the observation I was trying to make.
That's fair. Well, anyway, now I'm bumbling all through that. Let's plug some Humble Bundle and then get on to our top 10 list here. If you are interested in supporting the show, please check out MeepleCore.com. Click the Humble Bundle partner link, and that will take you to Humble Bundle, and you can pick up whatever type of bundles that they have going on. They constantly have Pathfinder and D&D 5th edition type supplements that are, 30 and 40 books worth of PDFs that you can download for $20 to $25 type of deal. They have video games on there. They even have training materials for IT professionals or programmers, all kinds of cool stuff. They also have an entire store, just like Steam, in which you can actually buy Steam codes. So I do recommend always checking Humble Bundle and Steam, because sometimes Tabletop Simulator is on sale at Humble Bundle for half off, but it's full price over at Steam. So it's worth checking it out. If you plan on purchasing from Humble Bundle, just click our partner link, and anything you purchase we'll get a little bit of kickback from, and we will really appreciate it. I love Humble Bundle, so I'm always wanting to promote it regardless. Even if you don't use our link, check it out because it's a fantastic site. Anyway, we have our top 10 for you this time, and this is our top 10 board games with deduction. So without further ado, our top 10 board games with deduction. And you said you could make an entire list of this based on games you've owned, like got during COVID that you haven't played.
Yes. Just really quickly. There's Newspeak. There's Danny. There's
so these are spoiler alerts because they're not going to show up.
These are coming later. These are previews of future reviews. Loot of Lima, Crime Hotel, First Contact, Houston, We Have a Dolphin.
Okay.
Inhuman Conditions, Sacred Rights to a certain degree. Anyway, yeah, I could do a bunch of. I desperately need to play some of these games.
I don't know if I've actually heard of any of these. Hilariously, are these a lot of Kickstarters?
Those are the kind of games I go for. Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's cool. See, that's the reason I listen to our podcast. We always talk about games that are, I don't know, lesser known, obscure.
Well, yeah, and I always like to highlight games that are lesser known and obscure.
Me too.
And with this list in particular, because there's so many deduction games that I love. But here's the thing. So many games on Board Game Geek are listed as having a deduction element, and that's cool, but I didn't want to come up with a list and say the same games that everybody who listens to this podcast already knows that I love. Like if I came on here and I said, my top 10 deduction games, Room 25, Detective.
Oh, whatever. You didn't put that on your list?
No, because I've already talked about it so much, right? Detective City of Angels. Yes, it has deduction. I love it. But I've already talked about it so much, right?
So you're telling me that awkward guest is not going to show up?
I mean, I didn't say that.
Gotta draw the line somewhere.
That's
Tim.
right.
All right, well, go ahead. I was going to say, we could just jump into it.
This is the part where I cheat and I get to talk about games that I'm not actually talking about. Rosetta, The Lost Language. My God, I love that game, but we've already talked about it. Mayday, Mayday. That's another one. So all the Dixit kind of clone games like Detective Club and Shadows over Amsterdam, all those kind of things, they're loosely deductive and I love them, but they're not technically showing up on this list.
I have a couple of games that have deduction, but maybe that's not the primary focus. I mean, I guess it is, but there's a lot of other things going on in the game, and they're on my list. And some of these are games that they're pretty well known. Some of them, I don't think any of my games on my list are super obscure or anything, so I'm probably going to be more typical when it comes to this, because obviously these are always top 10 favorite lists, because these are just games that are our favorites that make this list. We're not trying to make the definitive lists or definitive top 10s.
Sure.
So these are games that we just really like. And on top of that, these are games that we've played, obviously, because there's a ton of board games out there. So anyway, if you think we should have added games to our list, comment below if you're watching the video, or send us an email to MeepleCore@gmail.com. Let's start with me. That way I probably already know what your number one is, but we'll start with me anyway.
I bet you do. I bet you know several. I bet you know. Yeah, even though I tried not to mention the ones I always talk about, there's still a bunch that are just classics, or not classics, but ones that just I had to mention. I really like them that much, and so half of my list will be like that, and half will be a bit more obscure.
Fair enough. My number 10, it would be interesting if it shows up on yours. This is the only one that I considered swapping out for another game, even though it's a fantastic game, and that is Treasure Island by Madigo.
Oh my goodness, I love this game.
So the deduction element in this is one player is playing Captain Jack Sparrow, Long John Silver,
yes,
and he has buried his treasure somewhere on the map. Literally like a pinpoint, this tiny little drawing of a hut somewhere or this rock. And all the other players are running around basically with a ruler, moving their characters on this dry erase map that you can then put a circle on with a dry erase pen. And you're like, is your treasure in this area? And there's things that are going on that's going to help you deduce a little bit with cards or play or whatever that Long John Silver is going to have to do.
Yes, he has to give you information about portions of the map. So there is a lot of deduction here, for sure.
Right. It's not your typical, I'm assuming people are going to listen to this and like, where's the resistance? Those are fantastic. There's a difference between I should have said this before talking about my number 10. There's a difference between social deduction games and board games with deduction.
Yep.
Social deduction could show up on our lists. So could games with a trader element. So could games like this where you're just deducing something that somebody hid, The deduction can mean a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So this could be a fun list. Anyway, my number 10, Treasure Island.
I love it. And that's one that would have been on one of my lists of games that I've talked about and everyone knows I love already. So it
great. All I did was talk for George. All right.
It could have easily been on this list. It could have been on my list though. Absolutely. This was a painful list for me to make and not include so many games. And I'll probably say that about every game you mentioned. But so my number 10, I'm going to go with one that is much more obscure. and is number 10 because it's the most questionable to be included on a list like this. And it is Off Your Rocker. This is a game that is very similar to like Whose Line Is It Anyway? If you're familiar with that show, and they had the quirky party guests where the people would come in and just do like crazy stuff. And then the guy would have to figure out what is it that they were doing. Right. And, in this game, you have a psychiatrist who I guess he's a sub and he's just like thrust into a room with all the other players who are all suffering from the same mental delusion, but he doesn't know what it is. So he's got to get in there and, and ask them questions. And then they respond, you know, in ways that sort of could reveal what the, what their malady is, what their quirk is, but they don't want to give it away like directly. And this is a game where if you're in the right group of people that enjoy some role playing and enjoy, you know, that sort of improv comedy, it is fantastic. And if you're not, it's terrible. So I put it number 10 because it's a real hit or miss, but when it hits, it is just hysterically wonderful. Off Your Rocker.
That's kind of true with every social deduction type of game anyway, right?
No, that can be true, but this one is, it's particularly strong that everyone's in a mood to, you know, to be clever and witty and just, a bit silly and, yeah. You gotta,
that's fair.
And when you are, this one just hits on all cylinders. And a similar game to this is, called We Need to Talk, which we've talked about
that's
before.
exactly what I was thinking about while you were talking about it.
Yeah. Could have picked either of those, but I went with this one. It's I don't know, maybe some people would be put off by the idea of mental illness. But if you look at it more of, you know, quirky party guest kind of thing, you know, that makes it a little bit more palatable, I think.
Fair enough. My number 9 is a game that I was originally going to put Love Letter on. And I know it's like blasphemy at this point to talk about Love Letter. I really like the game. However, I like this one better, which is why it's on the list. And that is Brutal Kingdom. I believe this is by Cosmos. So Brutal Kingdom has deduction. Have you played this?
No, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this.
Really? Holy
Brutal
crap.
Kingdom.
Okay. Brutal Kingdom. It's like a love letter game where you have 2 decks of cards, right?
Yeah.
And depending, they're not really a lot of cards. I think it's maybe 16, I think. So it's a little bit more cards than Love Letter. What happens is you have a light deck and a dark deck, and you will take 2 cards from the light deck. You'll pick one and pass the card to your left. Then you'll draw 2 cards from the dark deck and then pass one of those cards to the right. So now you're going to have 4 cards basically, except you know what card you pass to the left and to the right. And then in turn order, you're going to take one of those cards and play it in front of you. And the whole goal of the game is there's these 3 different color shields that you're trying to collect. And at the end of the game, whoever has, I don't remember the actual scoring now that I think about it. I think it's like a majority scoring type of deal. Like if you have the most, you get this many points per shield type of deal.
Okay.
Either way, it's a point game at the end. But during the game, you're trying to deduce what other players have and what order they're going to play them in. For instance, if you play the king and he goes face up in front of you, he's going to give you a lot of shields. But if the assassin comes out, he'll kill the king. And what happens is you're essentially playing 4 cards. And when you play a card, you put it on top of your other cards that you played. So you make a stack, but only the one on top is visible and in play. But if it's your king and it's your 4th card you played and somebody plays the assassin, it will kill the king and flip your entire stack over so all your guys die. This is why it's called Brutal Kingdom, because the game can be brutal because you could lose. You only play the game, I think, basically 3 times.
Yeah.
Because you shuffle up and do it again. Or I think you play it 4 times. Either way, you can literally lose all your scoring for 25% of the game. So you're trying to deduce who has what cards because only a couple of cards are left over at the end. I think it's 2 from each deck. And they're face down on the table. And some of the characters you play will allow you to look at them. And then you look and you're like, all right, cool. The assassin's down there. But then somebody else plays a card that swaps their card for one in the middle. And now they have the assassin. You're like, do I play the king now? You know, because he's going to get assassinated. But maybe they don't play that because because the assassin will kill the queen as well. And earlier, before we did this, I kind of refreshed up on this game. There's a card that shows you all the characters and who they kill. And it's like a flow chart, like this character kills this and this character will kill this character, you know, and I call it the death matrix. And so
it sounds interesting. Yeah.
it is a fantastic game. It's really, really good. I mean, it could maybe put some people off because if you're not good at it and somebody else is, and they got the right cards against you, you can literally just get shut out. But I mean, that's a handicap type of deal.
But it's a quick game like Love Letter, right?
So, it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's slightly longer than Love Letter.
Okay. You know, just play it again.
Exactly. Like once people know the cards, like for instance, if you know all the cards in Love Letter, you know, it takes about the same amount of time to know all the cards in this game. And you're essentially playing it a little bit longer than Love Letter, because in Love Letter, you play so many hands, you get a token, right? If you win, and it's first to get so many tokens based on the player count. In this game, you always play the game essentially 4 times, but you're taking tokens from these different piles. And so you're trying to see what people are going for. And because the tokens are limited, very good game. I feel like this one did fly under people's radar. If you're looking for more info, I did review it, surprisingly to me, because I forgot I did, on the Dice Tower. So, or you can watch whoever's review, but check it out. I highly recommend it if you like games with a deduction element like Love Letter. This is like the next level Love Letter for me.
Very cool. I will definitely check that out. Yeah. All right. My number 9 is a game called Castle of Magic. And this is...
I seen this at half price and was like, this looks cheesy. And I think you told me that it was really good.
It looks so cheesy.
Garbage.
Yeah. And it is such an old game. It's a 1991 game and it looks like it. Like it is colored blocks, you know, on a map that, you know, on a board like Monopoly board where it literally is a roll and move game, right? It should be terrible, but this game was so far ahead of its time as far as deduction. You are a wizard and you're trying to get a monster that's inside the castle of magic and do something with it. Because
wait, is this the game that we played?
No, we've not played it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, we will though. One of these days when we can ever get back together again in person.
I was thinking about the other game where you're trying to find the different symbols to fight the end boss or whatever.
Well, it's like that.
But you recruit different guys. And it's like an auctioning type of thing.
It's not that.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure which game you're talking about, but you're not recruiting guys. You're your own, you know, person going into the castle to do your thing. But the thing is, there's 3 different lands that have sent wizards out to this castle. And there's 4 different kinds of wizards from these lands. And depending on who you are, where you're from, and what kind of wizard you are, you're going to want different results from what happens with the monster. Some wizards want to destroy the monster. Some wizards want to enslave the monster and control it. Some wizards want it to get out and, you know, eat the world. Like there's just different things you want to have happen. And the way that you make it happen is by getting these bell, book, and candles to be at one end or the other on different tracks. Like some people want the bell to be ringing. Some people want it silent. Some people want the candle lit, and some people want it off, extinguished, etc. And you have to deduce as you're going through and doing things, which wizards are kind of on your side and you can kind of work together, because you don't want to really help them all the way because their goal might not be the same as yours. Probably not. It's so good. It's so good for a roll and move. It's so far ahead of its time. There were 2 expansions that came out for this game, even the Castle Cursed and the Fall of Castle Bondi. And I have the whole set. I will never part with this game. I've enjoyed it every time I've played it. It is just a fantastic group party game with deduction. It's long and roll and move makes it long, but that's okay. This game is a hoot. Love it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely have seen this game at half price and multiple times and debated on buying it just because.
It's worth taking a punt on it if you can find it for a decent price, you know. And I would. Who am I kidding? I love this game. I would buy it for $50.
Fair enough. Let's move on to number 8 for me, and that is Spectre Ops. Now, there's a lot of hidden movement games, right? Other than something like Scotland Yard or whatever, obviously all of them are deduction. I really debated on putting the Fury of Dracula on here, although I don't feel like the deduction's there and it's fun, but it's a little bit different. This one though, man, I really like this game. It's stressful if you're the agent.
Yep.
Because you're just sitting there and they're trying to deduce where you might go because what's your better path. And then if the people know you, they're like, no, he's a gambler. He's going to jump out there and cross this place right here. And I just like the deduction element. I mean, it's not so much deduction for one of the players, the one who's doing the hidden movement, but for the hunters, the whole game is deduction because you're trying to figure out, like, if he went here, then he can only move 3 spaces or whatever. So he can only go to these spaces. Yeah. But what happens if he went here on his second move? Oh, now everything's all messed up. I mean, I guess you could kind of put any of these games, these hidden movement games, in this slot for me, or at least this game or Scotland Yard or Fury of Dracula.
Right.
I haven't played Letters to Whitechapel, but Spectre Ops is my favorite just because I like the whole Metal Gear Solid style of theme that's going on. Mm-hmm. It's such a good game. I really like this game.
Very nice. And I just thought of a game when you were mentioning games like Scotland Yard and like Nuns on the Run and all these hidden movement games. I just thought of one that I didn't even consider earlier on my list or when I was making my several lists. Stop Thief is a game.
I debated that one because I actually own it. And so when I was doing my list, I always do games that I've owned first. Like I'll go in and I'll choose in BGG, I'll choose, owned and then what the style of thing I want to look up.
Yeah.
So that I can immediately go through all my inventory first. Then I have to go back and do it again because I've played so many games I don't own. But it's so much easier for me to, like, typically if I own it, I either sought it out or I kept it around because after I played it, I really liked it.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that if it's in my collection, it's near the top of my favorite games because I'm starting to not really keep games that are kind of mediocre to me unless they have a specific purpose.
Yeah.
But I debated Stop Thief. It's good. The reimagining, I guess, is what you're talking about. The new one.
Yes. The reimagined, whatever they call it, the newer version. Yeah. And it has a
restoration games.
Restoration games. Thank you. They have a cooperative version of it now. And, so it is, I don't know where it would fall on my list now, having just thought of it, but, it's definitely a game worth considering in that genre. Yeah. Those are, I didn't actually think of those games as deduction games. I don't know why. Obviously they are. They obviously are.
Right. For me, when I think of, like, I thought about Fury of Dracula, and then that's what reminded me of Spectre Ops.
Okay. I didn't think of any of those. Like, I put those in my brain. Those are in hidden movement. Like, it's a whole different category for me, but
it is. But right. It is a deduction game. It's just not for one of the players playing. But for me with Fury of Dracula, sometimes I remember, because I haven't played it but once, I want it to be found sometimes just to beat them up because I was Dracula. So I don't feel like that's as deduction as something like Spectre Ops.
Agreed.
Not saying that it's better or worse of a game because I like both games pretty well. But I think Spectre Ops does have the Scotland Yard. I really like Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
And it takes that and basically adds special powers and a really cool theme, which is why Spectre Ops is much better of a game to me. So anyway,
something else that it has that I don't think Scotland Yard has ever added in any iteration is that if you have enough players, one of them is a traitor.
That is true.
You have to, it's not just, could he have gone across the street here? It's like, wait, did he? And did this person see him and not tell us?
Exactly. And I think at one point we will do our top 10 games with traitors because, oh, it's so good. Even though some of them could show up on this list, it would be cool to specifically say top 10 games with traitors.
Absolutely. All right. So my next one is number 8. Okay. Here's another quirky one and, maybe not so well known. But it is a worker placement game that is very, very quick and it's called Owakon or Code of 9. because the original version was Owacon. It stood for One World and Code of Nine. And they just mashed that together and made the word Owacon.
I love Japanese games.
It's so strange.
They have these strange titles.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And so in this one, you, as the players, are artificial intelligences that have reawakened after all the people are dead and gone. So you're far in the future and you only have fragments of your memory. So you only kind of remember your purpose and what the ultimate will of mankind was that you were trying to carry out. Maybe you're even responsible for the end of humankind, really. Who knows? Because you've lost part of your memory. But now you're trying to carry out the final will of your creators as you remember it, but you don't. You remember a couple of things. And so in the game, there are 9 cards that are going to be, from a deck of a lot of cards that are going to be end game scoring. And of those 9, you know what 2 of them are. And each of the other players knows what 2 of them are.
This is a precursor to Tragedy Looper, right?
It is by the same company as Tragedy Looper. And so it has a lot of the same kind of, just quirkiness to it. And the art is odd and the graphic design is bizarre. I'll be straight up. But the game is amazing because it's so fast. It's a worker placement game, so straightforward. You go to these spots and you get things. You collect books, or you collect statues, or you get money, whatever you think you're supposed to be doing. But there's other places you can go to be able to peek at some of these other cards that other people have, and you start to figure out, what it is that you're trying to do. But you can throw people off by acting like you're trying to do something when you're really not. But how far do you take it? Because you only have 15 to 20, actions in the game. And so the whole thing has this amazing chaos at the end, but it's still deduction because if you've played the game, you kind of know what the cards are and you might think who has what and what they're doing. It's super good because it's only a half an hour game. And
that's pretty good. Really
deep experience for that. It's really good. It's only a 4-player game, although there is a 3-player variant. I really do recommend just keeping it at 4 players. That's another big limitation for this one. But for just a really odd, interesting theme and experience, this is a great straight up worker placement game with deduction.
And this game is always available for a really good price too. Miniature Market has it for $7 or $6 like constantly.
Yeah, it's odd. I think, a lot of people overlooked this one and a lot of people have outright rejected it. So yeah, it's going to be on sale. I like it. And maybe you would too, if you like the same kind of quirky stuff I do.
Fair enough. My number 7 is a party game, ironically. Yeah, because I don't really put a lot of party games on my list, even though I do enjoy them.
Right.
But this one is Crosstalk. And Crosstalk, have you played this?
Yeah, but I didn't even think about...
Oh, it's so good. So Crosstalk...
Yeah, didn't think about it.
Give some publisher credits. Is it... Navu? I don't know how to pronounce it. Navu?
Yeah.
Games.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, Navu Games. And so Crosstalk is a game where you play it in 2 teams, and then one person from each team sits on the opposite side of the table. Obviously this shifts as the game goes on, and they have this secret word that both of them are, I don't remember what they're called. Let's just call it the representatives from each team, right? They look at a card and say, you want to pick this card? Sure. So basically both teams are trying to guess the same word. And then each team actually has like a hint they can write down on this board and give it to their own teammates. Then one team will start, and there's, rules behind which team starts and such. They will say their guess out loud, right, on what they think it is. But by saying that, now the other team has information, and then that team goes and says their guess. And so you just sit there and look at all these words that both teams have come up with, and it's almost like it only goes so many rounds, but essentially you're trying to be the first to guess what the actual hidden word or whatever is, and you get points.
Yeah.
But it is so good.
Yes. And if I had thought of it, it's a great call. And, absolutely.
About the only negative thing is, just like games like Codenames, you do need quite a bit of people. It suggests it's a 4 to 8 player game. I highly recommend 6 or 8.
Yeah.
You can play it with like an uneven number of people if you can figure out between your group who to handicap.
Right.
You know, like which team has more people or whatever.
Yeah. But for a party, it's fantastic.
Super good game.
Really like that choice.
That is Crosstalk. If you look it up, it is one word.
I think a game coming soon that I'm really looking forward to that is going to be similar to it is Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that on the Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah. And I think we're going to get the same kind of vibe. But this one's already out there and it's terrific. Yeah.
Sweet.
Right. So my number 7 is a game that is called Divinare. And this is a game where you are mediums, you are psychics, and you're trying to figure out what the card total of various other players are, of cards that are in your hands. There's 4 suits and they have different, so 4 colors of card, but you're trying to see how many of each are actually in the game. You know what you have in your hand, but you're trying to determine, what you're trying to make guesses on the total. And as you go around, you're giving pieces of information, because you play a card out, as you go, and everyone's playing cards out. So now you've seen more and more cards as the game goes. But once you make your, prediction, that takes up a spot. And so if you get in there early, then the other person can't take that number. And if you're dead on, you're going to get the points. And they, is
it kind of like a Hughes and Clues, whatever it's called, Hughes and Cues?
In the sense of the scoring, yes. Yeah. However close you are to the number, but it's purely mathematical and so it's purely deductive. You do figure out by the end, how many of each card everybody has, but it may be too late. By the time you figure it out, everyone else has taken the spots around that number. And now you're out of luck. It's really, really good. Really love this one.
Was that an Asmodee game? Like
Very
a really
simple.
old one?
It is Asmodee, Matago, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely Asmodee, but it may be Matago. I couldn't tell you right now, but
yeah, it looks like the Asmodee logo they used looks like one of the older Asmodee games. Does it say what year it is?
It's 2012. Yeah, so a bit older, I guess, and it is Asmodee. Yep, you got it.
Cool.
But it's lovely. The components are lovely. The gameplay itself is half an hour. It's lunchtime game, and it's really, really satisfying deduction.
Fantastic. We should try that one out. I haven't played that one.
Oh yeah, we gotta try it.
My number 6 is a controversial board game, and that's Unusual Suspects.
Uh-oh.
Because this game gets dicey real quick.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend only playing this with people you know. I don't know if I'd ever play this game like in public at a convention, simply because, I could really see some people getting getting offended or hurt.
Yeah.
Not that it's intentional, but you'll see what I mean if you've not heard about this game.
The game is asking you to make judgments.
Yeah, it's basically Judgment the game.
Physical appearance judgments. Go.
Yes. One person is the witness, and obviously one of the cards out on the table, like a grid of people's faces. It's like a bust shots, right, from their chest up. And it's all artwork. It's not real pictures. But one of those guys is, the suspect or whatever.
Right.
And the witness is trying to get you as a team. It's a cooperative game to pick the right person. So they'll flip out a card and it might say, are they vegetarian? And as a team, you've got, there's so many of them that you have to actually flip down each round, and you have to decide, well, what does he mean by that? So
yeah, just from the appearance of someone, can you tell if they're a vegetarian? Well,
yeah, just from the appearance, and not only on top of that, it's from the perspective of the witness. So that one person, like, how would Tim judge these people?
That is true.
Dude, it's so wrong on so many levels, but it is a phenomenal party game. It is so fast. It's so good.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to like it for the content, or not really the content, but just the idea of people judging people based on looks alone.
Exactly.
Which is human nature. So it's not like this isn't something people do all the time anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Cards Against Humanity thing where you're laughing because it's an uncomfortable truth that people do this.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Oh boy.
What is it? I can't read this one. It's like, do they get along with their parents or something? Might look out and see a punk rocker kid and think, no, but then maybe the person who's the witness is a punk rock kid and they got along with their parents. So their perspective on life is slightly different.
Right.
So you have to, it's basically stereotype the game.
It absolutely is. So yeah, handle with care.
Yeah, handle with care. But yeah, number 6 is Unusual Suspects.
And that's a game in the sort of the same vein as, like Simulo, which is a recent one. And then One Key, which is a wonderful game. So, if you want a little bit less controversial style of that, you could definitely go with one of those.
That's fair.
All right. So my number 6 is also a game by Bakafire, just like Oakan. And it is.
Look what it is.
Tragedy Looper.
I knew it was going to show up.
This had to show up. Tragedy Looper is pure deductive gold. It is amazing. It is time travel, and you have to go and something terrible is going to happen, and you don't know who's involved. You don't know what their roles are, but you have this whole list of what the roles might be and how they interact with each other. And so you're just going through the day until something terrible happens. Then you have to go back in time and do it all over again with this new bit of knowledge. But it's not perfect knowledge. You're not sure exactly why the terrible thing happened. Is it because the girl went to the shrine? Or is it because the doctor was also there, or whatever? It's amazing the amount of complexity that can be built into this game. There's so many scenarios and they get so hard and there's so much deep thinking that goes into this. It's great.
It is a good game. I've played a few of the scenarios. The only ding against it, obviously, is it's not replayable. I mean, you replay it as you're playing it because if you mess up, you have so many chances.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you're the game master or whatever they call it in that.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're on that team by yourself, kind of setting the board up and doing everything, because you actually have motions that you're going to do to get these events to happen. What causes the game to end. And
you're trying to do it, and the players are trying to stop you. It is an adversarial game. You're not just going through the script. You're running the script. It's genius the way that's done as well.
It is genius.
But here's the thing. The game is so heavy and requires so much thinking. You're not going to play it often enough to memorize those scenarios. So that's true.
It is absolutely. If I went back and played it today, I'm not going to know
remember.
Anything.
You would never remember anything.
As a matter of fact, I go back and play an RPG on like a PlayStation or a Super Nintendo, and I don't remember that. So I guess, yeah, you give it enough time, you forget.
If you have a perfect photographic memory, okay, maybe, but no, not very many people do. You're not going to remember this. It's going to be replayable like crazy for years because there's so many scenarios, and it's not a game you play every night.
And just randomness, the proper term is eidetic.
All right.
It's an eidetic memory. Anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, I really like this game. I actually had it and I ended up trading it just because it is really tough to get to the table. It's a lot of teach. And yes. I believe it is a game that you want to sit down. It's not like a legacy game at all. But you do want to sit down with the same group and play all the scenarios.
Right.
Just so you don't have to teach the game again.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a meta to it as well, yeah.
Right.
Well.
Yeah, because as you play it and you kind of understand what's going on. And I think maybe even storyline wise, it's a little, I can't remember if the story kind of weaves together at all.
It does in a sense. There are lots of expansions for this game and they'll all sort of feature the same characters. They introduce new characters that do different things, but then they all, the story will feature all of those characters in kind of an arc. But this is one that is tricky in that the story has to be sort of interpreted again as you're playing it. They don't come right out and say exactly what's going on.
Oh, okay, I see.
So, yeah, there's a bit of storytelling that takes place at the end. When I play one of these, there's extra work on me as a game master because I want to have a story that I can explain why exactly this all went down. Not just, here's a bunch of mechanisms, and so this is why it happened.
I guess you could replay this game as the game master, though, right?
Oh yeah, I'm always the game master when I play this game.
Like you're the only, you can only play it as a player once, or at least unless the statute of limitations on your memory expire.
Yeah, but there's I don't even know, a dozen scenarios that it comes with, and then there's 4 or 5 expansions that each have another dozen or so. So, and I've got them all. I've got so many scenarios for this, and I can't remember which ones I played, and it wouldn't matter anyway because I couldn't remember them. So it's fantastic.
Nice. Good game.
Yeah.
My number 5 is a game that we actually not recently played, but like during COVID, and that's Cursed Court by Atlas Games.
Oh yeah.
This is a very but like casino style deduction game where there is a grid of 3x3. I mean, the game's themed with like knights and kings and queens and stuff.
But
it doesn't really matter.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So the grid is a 3x3 grid, and you're trying to guess by the end of 4 rounds what is going to score, because each player gets a card between them and the player to the left and right. You also, each round will flip over 1 card onto the table. And so the first round, you have 3 cards of information, the card to your left, the card to your right, and then 1 card's face up. And then it's like a bidding game, right? I'm going to bid. Okay, the king's out, and there's multiple cards of each, and you're trying to bid on what's going to happen, because I only know this information, but based on how George is bidding, I know that this other card is probably in play. So I'm okay to bid on this one, because you can bid on a single space, or just like in roulette, you can bid on like a line or a square of things on the board. So you're kind of like just bidding, and you can knock each other's bids off, because you have to double up. You get these coins to use, and the coins aren't actually victory points. They're just bidding power. Yeah. And to knock somebody off a space, you will double up how many points. So if they put their little crown down with 3 coins, you have to at least bid 6 or higher to take them over.
And you always get the same number to start each round. You always start with 20.
Yes. And so after everybody's placed 1 bid out, if you knock somebody off, they get to go again, type of deal, like in turn order, until everybody has 1 thing out. Then you flip out another card, and you keep bidding until you have 2 out. And then you do it for 3 and then 4. So everybody's going to end up having 4 bids out, and then they will know 6 cards of information because 4 cards have been flipped up, and then the 1 to your left and right. It is phenomenal. You play the game essentially 3 times, and whoever has the most points afterwards wins. It is a very good game. The theming is, the artwork is meh to me. The components are great though. And man, I really wish this game would see a lot more, I guess. I don't know how well this game came out and made a splash. It was a Kickstarter game, and I think it made a splash, but like a lot of Kickstarter games, I kind of feel like it did that initial splash and then kind of went away. I don't know.
Yes. This is a game that needs a different theme. It needs like better art. It needs just a little reworking. And it's one that you introduced me to. I had never heard of it, and I really like it. I agree absolutely with what you're saying. It is punches way beyond its weight. Yeah. This game is tremendous for a betting game.
Oh yeah. Especially like 40 minutes, basically 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It plays up to 6 players. And this is an incredible gateway family game, because everybody understands casino style bidding and things like that to a degree.
Yep.
Right. It's not
there's nothing hard about it. Yeah.
Right. It's not off-putting to people that's never played. It's like, look, it's a casino game. You're going to be doing bidding like you would at a roulette table.
Right.
And they're like, well, that's weird. It's like knights and kings and stuff. Fantastic game. I highly recommend checking it out and tracking it down if that kind of game fits your fancy.
Yep. And it should. It's great. So my number 5 is a game that I've already talked about. I couldn't leave it off this list because it's been the deductive hit of this summer for sure. And it's The Search for Planet X.
I kind of figured this was going to show up on yours.
Yeah. Yeah, this game. Oh my goodness. This game has an app that helps you take care of everything. The game has a couple of modes. One is a more complicated one, but it's a very straightforward logic puzzle. And you have a lot of pieces that you have to juggle, and you can sort of take leaps of faith at times if you want to do that. And the way that you play the game is you have your observatory going around a track on the outside of the board, and the actions that you take will take different amounts of time. So if you take an action that gives you, let's say, perhaps more valuable information, it could take you more time, and your observatory will move further up on the track. And then somebody else could take a few actions that have a smaller chance of giving that quality of information, but maybe together they're going to, be what that person needs. You really feel like you're in control of what you're doing. And it's lovely. Is
this competitive?
Good. It is.
I've never played this one. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Man,
we really should try it out. I haven't played this. I've been wanting to, though.
We should. And here's the thing. This is really why we should do it. I've seen this come up on a few lists of games that should be played during COVID that you can play at a distance. I haven't thought about how to do that, but other people must have. So I need to look into this and see, how we could do it. Because
I'm not trying to bash people, but some of these lists where they're like COVID style games, like just if you follow the podcast and you listen to the episode about the Board Game Geek Awards, some of these Zoomable games were just obscene.
Yeah.
Like, you're absurd. I mean, you're not.
I can see this one.
That.
I could see this one because it's all in an app. And so you can all load in the app and then type in the code and be in the same game. But then the question is, as far as the board goes, like, I
guess
I
if
could
one
set it up
person
here.
has it and they have a webcam.
Right. So I would have to do that.
Other people are like, Dominion. I'll shuffle your deck for you. Just fan the cards out.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to have to try this. It is phenomenal.
Next up for me is number 4, and that is the heaviest game on my list. This is by CGE, Check Games Entertainment, or Check Games Edition, and that is Alchemists. This is a phenomenally deep deduction game.
Oh my Lord, yes.
Where basically you're trying to guess what components or whatever makes up these type of potions. There's an entire app that will scan the cards as you get it, and it will help you deduce or like give you the results of what it is when you make the potion. So you're trying to figure out what makes what and everything. Oh my, there's too much to explain, and it's not really needed to explain it right now.
Yeah. It's
obviously
worker placement. It's worker placement as well as,
yes,
collecting the information and creating the potions and then subjecting your students to taking the potions, or you can even take it yourself. The game is hilarious and it is amazing.
As all CGE games, it has so much comedy through it. It's hilarious. The game is super well done. It's super good. I've never played the expansion, even though George is throwing up some pictures here.
Yeah.
Is this on your list? How do you have the pictures already?
Yeah. Yeah. You think it's on my list? Absolutely. And here's an example of what the card
is it number 4?
Like.
Is it number 4?
It is not. It is way higher.
We'll come back to it then.
Think this game is absolutely essential for a deduction aficionado.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, my number 4, we'll talk about it here more in a minute. That's Alchemist.
Yeah. All right. So my number 4 is a word game. I love word games, and I love this one, Letter Jam. This is a cooperative, deductive word game. That is my jam. And this one is just, it's so good. You have cards that are facing away from you, so you don't know what they are, but everyone has to take turns making words using the letters that they can see around the table and putting out these tokens that show the order in which those letters are used. And by doing so, you get to see all the letters that are being used except the one that is currently facing away from you. But you should be able to deduce what that is,
right.
Hopefully. I mean, it's depending on the people that you're playing with and if they give you terrible examples. But it's so funny. It's so clever. At the end of the game, you have to have figured out all of your letters and then unscramble them to make a word. And just that process is so satisfying. I would play this game every night. It's the best.
Have you played it with your grandma?
I have not. I think
might be too much.
It's a bit rules heavy for her. Yeah.
Okay.
She would be a little lost on this one. So, but if you're not 97, it's not a hard game. The rules are not hard. I don't want to give that impression.
It's a lot of thinky kind of type of game, right?
Right. We play llama every night, and every time we play, my grandma will be saying, "Okay, so I can play a 4 or a 5."
It's just
grandma.
the next number.
It's a 4 or 5. That's right.
That's funny.
So yeah, just to give you an idea. But
okay, fair enough. We got some Czech games high up on this list here.
Yes, we do. Oh man, that's right. This game is Czech games, and it is great.
My next one, we'll move on to number 3, and that is a Bezier game, and it is One Night Ultimate Werewolf. This is by far one of my most played games in all of my games I've ever played. We've played so many times because usually when we play it, it's like 10 to 15 times each
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 10 minutes, so obviously it's a lot quicker than a lot of games, but even so, the amount of time we've put into playing this is still higher than even some of my other games that take 5 hours to play.
Yes. And part of the joy of it is creating that meta about the particular night that you're playing it.
Exactly, because of how people are, oh man, all right, he really caught me last time, so now I need to do a little bit of different things. It is a game you definitely have to play multiple times in a row.
Yes.
If you've never played Werewolf, don't. And if you've never played One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Agreed.
Dude, I do not like Werewolf. I'm sorry.
No.
It just doesn't make any sense. There's no way to deduce stuff. I don't.
No.
It's just a fun, there's only just a party game. Yeah, it's an activity, right? One Night Ultimate Werewolf, though, when we first played it, I was very skeptical because of how much I just despised Werewolf. This is kind of pointless to me. However, this has a lot of structure to it where, everybody closes their eyes and they do stuff on the table to manipulate where the cards are, right? The troublemaker gets to swap 2 other players' cards that are face out in front of them. Some of the other ones will like to swap a card with one of the 3 in the middle. And so as you wake up, you only have one night to discuss who the werewolves are. And they're like, well, I was the what was it? The scryer? I don't remember what it's called. The person who can look at a person's card.
Oof.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I call it the scry. I think it's the scry, I think.
Okay.
Man, it's been a long time since I played this, actually. Well, anyway, you get to look at...
a witch. She's like a witch.
Yeah, she gets to
fortune
see...
teller. She's like a fortune teller.
Like a fortune teller, right? You get to see one of the players' face-down cards. And like, I looked at Eric's and he's a werewolf. Eric's like, well, maybe I was, but they just said they swapped my card out, so now I'm no longer the werewolf. Stuff like that. You're trying to deduce... You basically want to try to not talk unless you need to and just listen to everybody else and try to discern what has happened and where your card ended up. Did it stay where it's at? All right, cool. Am I a good guy? Maybe I'll talk a lot. Am I a bad guy? I'm going to plead the fifth a lot.
Yeah, but you never know because anybody could be lying at any time.
Anybody can be lying. Yes, correct. And it just gets crazier and crazier because everybody points at the end of the 10 minutes or whatever. And then you're like, you were lying. And if one person lies, it messes up a lot of things. So you have to really put all these scenarios in your head. Okay, you said this. Let's pretend it didn't happen that way in my head, right? I'm not going to tell everybody else this. Then you like come up with an alternate timeline of what happened and whether or not you're still good or not. Yeah. You don't really care too much about other people, unless one person is really suspect. Then you can point them out. But it's such a good game.
All of this in the space of 10 minutes. It is such a good game. This one, you'll see another one on my list, and I was torn between this one or the other. And the only reason I didn't put it on my list is because I didn't put any social deduction on my list.
That's fair. And there are a couple of different versions. There's One Night Ultimate Vampire and One Night Open like superheroes or something.
Yeah, and Alien, yeah.
And Aliens. And they're all compatible.
Yeah, they just add variations into it, but they're all on the same theme and they're all tremendous. This one, I've had so many good games of this. Absolutely.
Very good game. So number 3, One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Yeah, great choice. My number 3, I went with an oldie but a goodie. Again, pretty much straight deduction. And this is a game called Zendo.
Wow, I've seen this so many times and I've just looked over it. Like, old game, we're done.
It's right. It's an old game. But in the game, you have all of these little pyramids, these Looney Lab pyramids that, they have, different colors and they have different sizes, and they have different number of pips around the bottoms of the pyramids. And you can lay them on their side. You can put them on top of each other. You can have them sort of askew. There's all kinds of things you can do with these pyramids. One of the players is the Zen master, and he knows the rule that he's following, or it could be rules, multiple. Like and he's going to determine whether or not a construction has Buddha nature. So if the rule is a construction has Buddha nature if it has a yellow piece or
Buddha nature?
Yeah.
Buddha?
Buddha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
Zendo, right? It's Zen. So
that makes sense.
So the theme of the game is one person is the Zen master and the others are disciples, apprentice monks or whatever they are, trying to achieve enlightenment. So the Zen master is the one who knows the rule. And then he's going to put out a piece that has Buddha nature and put a white stone next to it showing this has Buddha nature. And then he puts out another piece that he constructs that doesn't follow the rule, and he puts out a black stone showing this piece does not have Buddha nature. And then one by one, all the disciples get to create their own structure and ask the master, and then he just puts down a stone. Does it or doesn't it? And as you go along, some more and more do, more and more don't. And from the combination of all of that, you need to deduce what is the rule.
Like kind of like a green pyramid can't be on top of a yellow pyramid.
That might be the rule. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a group mastermind or something.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it's like, but it's so much more broad in what you can do with it.
Man, I'm more excited. I'm kind of sad that I skipped over this.
I've loved this game for years and years. Love it.
It's crazy because it came out in 2001, and then I look 2020 expansion 2. Wow. That's a good gap in they came out with one in 2018 and then the next one came out in 2020.
Yeah, they took a long time to sort of re-release this game, but it's not significantly different. So any version you find, pick it up. It is great.
I'm not even talking about, I'm talking about expansions for it. They're just rule cards, but it's
They're
weird
just rule cards.
Yeah, like the game came out in 2001 and then
you can make up your own rules. You
17 years later, you come out with an expansion.
Yeah, but you don't even need cards. You just make up your own rule yourself and then go with it. Although I will say some people will come up with crazy hard rules, like the number of pips in the total construction are a prime number or something like that. And it's like, that's going to take us an hour to figure out, first of all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, some people make it way too hard.
Yeah, they just kind of go overboard.
Yeah, so maybe it is good to have these cards.
Yeah. Plus, you don't have to think. You just draw a couple, pick one you want or something.
Right. Yeah, it makes it much quicker. Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 2 is another kind of party game. And this is by the renamed company Pull the Pin Games. And that is Good Cop, Bad Cop. Everybody on this podcast doesn't like it. I don't care. Anyway, it's on my list. It is one of my favorite deduction games. Basically, you get 3 cards in front of you, and on your turn, you get to investigate other players to look at one of their cards, and then later you can do it again. And it's going to say if you're, they're called something else, but a good cop or a bad cop. So if you have 2 good cop cards and a bad cop card, majority rules, you're a good cop. But if you have the agent or the kingpin, you're the leader, so it doesn't matter what your other 2 cards are. And you're trying to deduce who's on your team and who the opposite leader is, because that's the only way the game ends is if the leader of either team is killed. It is so fun. I like the expansions. The newest one that came out, which is called Promotion, I think. I can't remember the official name. Promoted. So Promoted is by far one of my favorite expansions. It's definitely an expansion that I feel like you play Good Cop, Bad Cop with all the other expansions, or play Good Cop, Bad Cop with just Promoted. Kind of like that scenario for me, I think. And either way, it's just a really good game. And I really like it. I don't care what George thinks.
I think it's like I will play it. I think it's a bit flawed, but it's definitely an experience. So yeah, check it out for yourself. See if you like it.
Fair enough. Good Cop, Bad Cop.
And my number 2 is one that you knew was going to be on this list. You probably guess what it is right now. It's Awkward Guests.
I figured this was coming. Now I know what your number 1 is, but yes, I was going to guess this is your number 1. So I was wrong.
You're wrong. But it's a tough choice. It really is a tough choice. But this one, in terms of a game where you're actually deducing who the killer is, and you have a lineup of suspects, and then you get pieces of information about them. And in the game, the bits of information, they're not straightforward. They lead you to deducing other bits of information, which is what makes this game so clever. It's app driven. You can make it several levels of difficulty. There can be an accomplice involved. This game just has it all. When it comes to a deduction game, there's really nothing better. The only thing that puts my number 1 above this is that it's the gameplay and the nature of it and the humor of it. And it has as deep deduction, but not in the same sense. You're not actually trying to find a killer. In the sense of trying to find a killer, there's nothing that tops this for me.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you want a modern designed game of Clue, yes, this is where you look.
Yes. 10,000 times better than Clue.
Cool. Do you have an honorable mention?
I do.
Me too. I'm going to start with mine. My honorable mention would probably make this list. I just need to play it a couple more times and determine if a part of it is actually not good or what. But the game was so good, I sought this out. This is Parlay by Lunatic Board Games.
Oh, okay.
This is a really hard game to track down.
Yes.
They don't make it anymore. I can't imagine there's only a couple 100 copies of the game out there. I found somebody who shipped it from Germany, so I paid as much in shipping as I did for the actual game, and I really appreciate it. If you listen to this podcast and you're the person who sold this to me, I am beyond excited. The game has a mix of really good components and really crap. The cards are just garbage. They're a terrible quality stock, and they're all like cut off. The people who made it don't know what bleeds are. So, when the cuts happen and they're off, it's almost like it's the edge of the card. It's not just like they made a bleed to where you can't notice. Anyway, with that being said, the game is super good.
Yeah.
You basically are one of the 6 nations of the, era of pirates or whatever, like France and, Spain and all that stuff.
Yep. You're
no one knows
who everyone is.
Yeah. You're trying to deduce everybody. The easiest way to explain the game is basically each round, there's a card that shows which 3 factions or nations are the attackers and which 3 are the defenders. And then if you choose to do a fight, which is 90% of the time what you're going to do, you will choose which spot on this hexagon grid that overlays like Europe and stuff and where you're going to fight at. And then everybody plays a card in. You can choose 2 different ways. You can blind bid basically where y'all just put a card face down, or you can do it turn-based where everybody puts a card face up. Dramatically changes the information that is being given around. Like, why are you putting that heavy attack out there, George? Stuff like that. And so there's a really good deduction element. You really do need to find out who everybody is, because if you know who they are, you can blackmail them and they have to pay you money. And that's one of the main
points.
Yeah, which is victory points. And if you're wrong, then you only have a chance of like if you want to deduce who the Spain player is, you only have one chance to throw that blackmail card out. Now you can't choose anybody else to blackmail as Spain. And so you can really mess up your stride if you get one of those wrong. So the whole game is fantastic. There's just a little bit of issue with, at the end, you could buy these, I don't remember what they're called, but these cards that give you points based on, like a percentage of what the faction that you just bought this card from is.
Yes. Letters of mark. Yeah.
Right. And it's just that part of the game really turned me off because it doesn't seem worth it. It seems unnecessary. So I do want to play the game a few more times to make sure it's not, but otherwise this game would probably be in my top 10 for sure.
I think it's absolutely a house rule could fix that instantly. And out of the games that you've introduced me to that are deduction games, there's the Cursed Court and there's this one. This one is my favorite. I think this game is just great. Yeah. And I wish it wasn't such a small print run and just unable to be found. So it deserves more attention and to be redone sometime in the future.
Oh yeah. Like the company's website's gone. It's just like
sad.
You can only find a couple of remnants of out of stocks on some German websites. But if you have the chance to get a hold of it, it is phenomenal. It is on Tabletop Simulator if you do want to try it and you have enough people to do so. It is a 4 to 6 player game, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's really, really nice.
So what's your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions have
more than one.
Well, my honorable mentions are every social deduction game ever. So
that's fair.
But I had to just pick one out of the lot of them, and I suppose this is one of my absolute favorites. And it is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. This is a game where you have somebody who is a killer and an accomplice, and everyone else are forensic scientists trying to locate them. They all have cards in front of them that are items and evidence. And at the start of the game, the killer has selected one of each from in front of themselves to use to have performed the murder. But everyone else has similar kinds of cards in front of them. And then you go through, and each round, the ghost, is it a ghost? the one of the forensic investigators who cannot speak, cannot fully communicate with you, is going to be giving you a piece of information related to the crime. And it might be the manner of death, it might be the location of death, it might be the relationship of the individuals involved, et cetera, but it's just one tiny piece. The
forensic scientist or something, which
it is, but why is it that
why can't you talk?
I think it's a ghost.
It makes more sense.
Yeah. So and then everyone else is going to discuss that piece of information, what it could mean about the actual commission of the crime. But here's the thing, the killer is out there as part of the discussion, and their accomplice is out there as part of the discussion, and they are going to be misleading everyone away, from the actual truth. The game, for a party game for a large number of people, the theme is tremendous. The discussions that it has, creates, is just my favorite. This is my favorite social deduction game. I'll just say it. Yep. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
It's a really good game. I had this on my list, and this might have been the one that kicked my number 10 off, which was Treasure Island. I really like this game. And as a matter of fact, I think it was in my top 10 for a while when it was released.
Yeah.
Doing our number ones?
Number ones. I should do mine first because everyone knows what it is now.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So my number one is, I couldn't even come up with a good lie. It's Alchemist. It's Alchemist, and it deserves to be. This is just the melt your brain deduction game that when you put in the Golem expansion as well, and you're trying to figure out what all of these components do to these potions, and then figure out what does that mean in terms of what they might do to a golem. Oh man, it's the crunchiest, deepest deduction experience out there, with a really funny, great theme, really satisfying gameplay where you can get points for giving your research to everybody else and publishing and saying this is true, but you could be lying.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. Every bit of this game is as a deep 3-hour worker placement. If you're playing with all the expansions, it is
crunchy.
It is the king. It is the king of deduction.
It's the kind of game where you need to give your brain a nap afterwards.
Absolutely.
For real.
Absolutely. Oh, and it's run by an app, which, helps out, but it's so funny. There's so many things you can get wrong and mess yourself up. And then you're desperately backtracking and trying to figure out where you did. Oh, it's so good.
It is a very, very excellent game. I want to play the expansions, just not get around to it.
Yep. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
My number one is hopefully not anticlimactic to people because it's a pretty obvious choice, but it is Shadows over Camelot by Days of Wonder. I'm telling you, I have had some of the greatest experiences and I have some of the coolest stories from playing this game. Some of the stories we tell constantly, like at game night and stuff, came from this game. And it is just phenomenal. What's really cool about it is you're trying to deduce. The only deduction in the game essentially is who the bad guy is or who the traitor is on your team. Right? All these other games that I've talked about have so much more deduction than this, or so many more things you're trying to deduce, right? You might be trying to deduce what everyone is at the table.
This is the original traitor game.
It is. And it does it so well because it forces everyone to always do a bad action at the start of their turn. And I'm like, why'd you pick that? Well, if you weren't bad, you would just sacrifice life, and it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense because now I'll go down to 1. And if an event comes out and it does something, it'll hurt me and kill me. Oh man.
Yeah.
And
it just works.
Such a good game. Such a good game. It works. It is very, very good. The traitor element is by far, even though it's the pioneer of the traitor element, I still think it almost does it better than all the other games so far. There's some other games that have really good traitor elements to it, and that's one of my favorite elements to games.
Yeah.
But man, this one just has it so good. And it's not really that long of a game unless you're playing with like 7 or 8 players. The expansion, I think, I would never play it without the expansion at this point. I mean, I'm not saying like, if I went to somebody's house and they didn't have the expansion, I wouldn't turn down the game. But if I have the game and I own the expansion, I'm always going to use it. Even though it does lengthen the game a little bit, it adds so many cool elements to the game that such a great game. So,
Yep. I agree. Absolutely. And we've gone over this one on the show before.
Yeah. And if you watched before when Matt was on, it definitely is his number one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, I'm pretty sure it was still his number one for many years. And I don't know why it's on Amazon for $350.
What?
Except for they don't reprint this game and it baffles the crap out of me. Like, why would you not reprint? Camera froze. Why would you not reprint one of your most successful games? I cannot imagine this game didn't do well or it wouldn't do well if they re-released it.
And the expansion itself was going for hundreds of dollars as well.
Yeah, I bought the expansion for like 20 or whatever when it was out. I pounced on that one really fast. But yeah, 2012, that's the only time they re-released it. I don't know. I don't know why they don't reprint this game. It just baffles me. But it's hard to get. So anyway, yeah.
Good choice.
I guess that's our list. Hopefully you enjoyed it. What did we miss? What games do you think we should have added on here? Especially if you've listened to the show and maybe we missed a game that we've raved about in the past.
Oh, there's so many games. There's so many games we didn't.
There are so many games. Yeah. When you get into the context of a top 10, some things go out the window because
they have to.
They have to, or just there's so many games to think about. Yeah. So some of it is, your research skills. Anytime I think of a top 10 list, I can immediately think of probably the top 5 for sure, which is why in the past we always just did top 5s, but now we, dedicate episodes to this. So it's a little bit easier to do.
Yes.
Top 10s are a little bit tougher to do, I think, oddly enough.
They really are. And I come up with the first top 5 or whatever, and then I don't want to mention them, like Treasure Island and Mayday and Room 25 and, all these games that I probably over talk about, unless it's one that is pure deduction. I feel it has to be on the list, like, Awkward Guests or Alchemist or something like that. Yes, I talk about those a lot too, but, that's sort of the whole point of that game is the deduction. So it has to be on there. But
no, it's such a good game. Yeah.
but there's just I don't know, like hundreds of deduction games, and it's one of my favorite mechanisms.
I mean, even doing like BGG, I think it had 43 pages just clicking deduction.
Yeah.
And each page is, I don't know, 40 games or 50 games? I can't remember.
And every single page, I'm going through and I'm going, there's at least one game on that page that I think, ooh, that's really good. One of my absolute favorite things.
All right. So maybe we'll do our top 10 trader games at some point. Maybe we'll skip a few episodes before we do it just because it's probably going to be similar.
Yeah.
I don't know how many trader games. I didn't have that many trader games on here, actually.
Oh my goodness. There's tons of trader games. We could do our top 100 deductive games someday, and then
I don't know about 100. just to be easy, just look on Board Game Geek and look by the geek rating at that point. All right. Anyway, we're wrapping this up, right?
Yep.
All right. We want to thank you for tuning into episode 128 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on June 10th, 2021. Please send us questions and comments to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the video versions of the show on YouTube. Until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.